Jara.
I'm Kathy from Ovando.
Yes.
Christian from VAPR.
He's Christian Matthew, I'm Christian Paul.
Just to keep that clear.
Yes.
So Jara is one of our lead investigators, and she helps with a lot of the setup. Kathy started her own team with Blackfoot Paranormal, and she has recently joined part of VAPR. We do a lot of work with Blackfoot Paranormal as joint investigations, I guess you could best say. So whoever contacts us or her, we jointly go into certain locations, such as the Conrad Mansion. And of course, you know Christian, and then Christian Matthew. How would you describe Christian and his expertise?
The neat thing about Christian when he's on site is when everybody else is getting excited about something, he's the cool head in the room.
He is.
I mean, he really is. We're like, oh my gosh. He's like, well, so he keeps us grounded and stuff like that. And in an investigation, that's important. That's very important. Yeah.
A lot of times phone calls you hear about some place that might be nicely haunted, and back in the old days when we started a long time ago, we actually would have to beg, borrow, steal, and pay to do an investigation. Mm-hmm. And now once that your name gets out and you find out that, oh, okay, these guys are a little bit more legit than maybe some others, now we're getting asked.
Community awareness is big as well, but as you start going, like Kathy said, as you start paying for certain locations, your name gets out there, they watch and observe what you do and how you go about it. Also putting it out on social media. That's just another form of getting it out there, what you do and how you go about it. We also hold at the library local here in town free seminars. So the do's and don'ts on how to be a ghost hunter. We go over evidence, what are orbs, what are facts, fact finding, and how to base evidence against fact to make it a paranormal experience.
I've gone on investigations with other groups who are just orb crazy, and I did an experiment with all of them in attendance, and I opened up a closet and I just went into it and took a flash picture. Oh my gosh, orbs. And it was like, these are dust particles, these are insects. If you're outside, it's water vapor, it's snow, it's so many things. But if it goes with the flow of your air current, it's a dust, but if it has an erratic turn to it and a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit color to it or something, then we start questioning it. And I think out of 10 years of doing this, we've gotten 2 that we thought this could be something. Mm-hmm. And one of them was here.
Yeah, that's right. One was in the Conrad Mansion when we did investigation back in 2012 or 2013. We caught an orb that really it did kind of blow our minds, because most of the time the things they call orbs you see in images, like they're saying, they're not a spiritual energy. That's about the best way to put it.
I guess the one thing you can say is if you ever use a camera during the holiday season or a wedding or some event, and you always see the Polaroid pictures back from the day and you have those little white specks all over them, the flash on cameras, anything that has anything that can reflect illumination or light, that's essentially what you're seeing. Now, as Kathy said, orbs, and it has been my experience, they come in multiple colors. And they will be opaque. So opaque meaning solid. And they can be in yellows, blues, and greens, and reds. And typically an orb that like they're talking about, you will see them in white, but they have purpose. They flow with purpose. They'll stop on a dime and do something else. So,
and one last thing I do want to point out, one of the biggest mistaken orbs for spirit energy is when it flashes as it moves across the room. Mm-hmm. That's a mistake, because the night vision camera has an infrared little dots throwing that out, and that's just the dust particle moving through the infrared beam. That's all it is.
The thing to remember is they do exist. But
Yes.
Also on the flip side is be careful what you call an orb and what you don't.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I'll speak from the historical standpoint. So you have a claim. Somebody says, I have something in my house, it's happening. We have to go in there, listen to the claim, document the claim, and then try to recreate that claim to see if it's something of normal occurrence or not. If we can't get it to do that, then there's further testing, and it's just further coming back trying to recreate it or find out what it is. To actual fact-finding information, you have a claim, you experience it, then you have to go through archives, historical documents, and verify that something actually did transpire that supports your claim. As a team, and most teams that are true investigators, they will never call anything paranormal until they have some kind of basis, fact-finding, to back it up. So That's how we do it as a team. I think Kathy can elaborate a little more.
Exactly what you said, and then a lot of it too is just, if you go back to another place, it's repetitiveness. And also basically eliminating any contamination from the outside.
Very, very healthy sense of skepticism.
Perfect.
Okay? Because if you're a total believer, everything's paranormal.
Right.
If you're a total cynic, nothing is ever paranormal. So you have to have that really good, healthy sense of skepticism to keep it clean, to keep it, your integrity has to stay involved in the whole process. And so like they were saying, and how do you vet, is this real or not? That's where the skeptic comes in. Is there really a natural cause or a natural reason why this is happening, and it really isn't paranormal? And when you start working through everything you can possibly get through, and you're still left with that, then you have to go, okay, maybe it's paranormal.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And not everybody has to have a sensitivity. I am not sensitive to anything. No, I look at it this way. They kind of feel things, and then I'm going around basically being the skeptic and going, that was a car. You know, that was, you know, I'm seeing lights, it's a car.
And the other types of sensitivities is intuitives and sensitives that can either sense something that is happening in an area to bring attention to one of us so that we can look into it with our equipment. There's so many tools you can purchase to utilize. There's the old antiquated tools that you can use that are probably, in my opinion, more useful than not. So don't eliminate those. But we have tools on our team as well. I'm more of the investigator, skeptic, not so much, but also the technical person that does a lot of the setups. Both Christians are sensitives, and we use their tools. I'll do the initial interviews with the personnel that are making the claims, and I won't share any information with either one of them. And I'll document the whole process, and if I deem it's necessary to go ahead and with the investigation, I'll have Christians, plural.
One of them.
One of them. They'll go to the event. They'll do a complete walkthrough, knowing nothing about the location or even the individuals that are clients. And then after their walkthrough, they'll sit down with the clients along with myself, and they'll tell us what they pick up on. And the percentage of accuracy is just phenomenal. My experience in the 5 years we've been together.
Right.
97 to 98% accuracy, and even picking up stuff that only the client knew and never told me. So it's really, really educational for myself.
And I'm still a skeptic. Even as a psychic, I'm still a skeptic. And that blows their minds when either one of us go, no.
Yeah. A lot of ghost teams do make their own stuff, or they'll buy it online. There's various locations like Ghost Shop and places like this. You can buy it. And when you buy it, it comes with a nice little sticker on it that says Ghost Shop on it. There are some out there, ghost hunters, they say that as well, but a lot of the equipment that you look at, you got to be careful of what you do buy. If you pay, you think you got a good special price on it, you did, for a reason. EMF is electronic magnetic fields, and typically that is a disturbance in the atmosphere itself, where it's a spike of energy. You know, when you rub your feet on the ground and you get that static electricity, it's much like that. People can be sensitive to that, and it can give you vertigo, sick to the stomach, nausea, just an unwillingness, uncomfortableness of being in a location. I've always told clients, if you feel this way or see things out of the corner of your eyes, leave that location. If you feel better, you're probably susceptible to high EMF. Tungsten lighting overhead in most buildings, that will create it. So we're looking for those kinds of shifts in the atmosphere. And it is understood in the paranormal community and as a science that when you detect something like that, you can detect, we use a piece of tool that's called a 360 periscope. But essentially it sits on the floor and it has, probably seen this on Ghost Adventures, the Travel Channel and Sci-Fi, but it's got a 360 degree array. And each one of those lights senses activity and measures various things in the atmosphere. If it detects something that's not what we call a baseline, it will start flashing in the direction it's coming. So as it flashes stronger or stays bright red, that typically means it's right near you or next to you. So there's various types of equipments. EMF detectors work the same way, but they have lights on them. So the stronger, the brighter the lights. So there's all kinds of instruments that you can use, but typically they're looking for anomalies in changes in atmosphere or like a sensitive would do, they would feel a certain condition. That's essentially what they're doing from a scientific perspective. Keep in check with us. I mean, we're always open to the public. They can always come out to us and request investigations. We are volunteers. We have a couple guests with us. They're going to be joining with us at the investigation tonight. So
One of the things that people do ask us they're not aware of, we don't charge for this.
Yeah.
This is voluntary work and stuff like that. Somebody's here.
it's our other volunteers.
Is that? No. That's are you there? Right. Probably outside the door right there. So, but that's one of the things is we do this voluntarily. Some people think we charge to come out and help them deal with the situation they're dealing with, and we're amazed at how many times we have to tell them, "Oh no, we don't charge."
Yeah. So all that equipment that you see is coming out of everybody's pockets.
Yes. Yeah. It's because we love what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.